Morning. Well, 2022 is the beginning of the end. We've heard about all of the issues, I would say, for many crypto native organizations since yesterday. Let's hope that 2023 is a lot more positive. Obviously, we're hearing about the issues around bad corporate governance, not enough risk management. These are important things that you need to take into a crypto native organization. So, hopefully this will work. Fantastic. So I'm from Ernst & Young. I am the Director of Consulting for Asia Pacific around blockchain. You can see my socials down the bottom there if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn or listen to me on Twitter. Ernst & Young is a global organisation. We have 300,000 employees that work globally. Our local setup is SGV. You will probably know the brand very, very well in terms of auditing, but we do other things which, span out into consulting, and we're actually working on products as well. So we have worked in blockchain since 2015. We've not really advertised it too much as yet, but we're starting to get out there in terms of marketing what we're doing around that. We'll talk to you about the products that we're building. It's true that blockchain is a game changer. We've talked about that yesterday. We know, and there's been a lot of discussions around NFTs, and blockchain is the enabler for NFTs so that Web3 can work appropriately. What's really interesting that we're seeing with working with organizations globally is that there are traditional organizations that have been running for very long periods of time that want to enter into this space, want to work with digital assets, a lot of the financial institutions. What that means is that there are new business models that are being looked at. They're looking at it from a point of view of how can they bundle their products that they have right now into more contemporary products, digital assets. And there's a lot that's being done in many different industries. I'll start to talk to you about some of these use cases that we're finding from an enterprise point of view. So we've invested over $100 million since 2015. We've worked in investing on products. One of the key things that we have made a big bet on is around public blockchain. Now, the reason why we believe public blockchain is an enabler is because it opens up innovation. So we've really leaned in on Ethereum. We've leaned in on Polygon. If you go and have a look at some of our open source contributions, you'll see because we're looking at public blockchain opportunities, we've actually done a lot of work around privacy. So there's a project that is an open community project where we've done some work around a product called Nightfall, and it's about zero knowledge proofs so that you can run privacy off chain and then bring your proof back on chain, which is really interesting. Another product that we're looking to complete this year is Starlight. I should say that Polygon has adopted Nightfall as a zero knowledge proof. Starlight is another opportunity that we're working on from an open source perspective. You can have a look on GitHub as well. It's really interesting. It's about decorating smart contracts so that you can build privacy with smart contracts. Because as you know, you build a smart contract on a public blockchain, everyone can see what that smart contract looks like. So what we do is we decorate the smart contract and then we run it through a tool which then puts it into bytecode, making it private. So we've done this with our investment. We have over 20 cryptologists in London that have been working on privacy on public blockchain, and we've got around about 100 plus blockchain engineers in our global delivery service. So quite a big setup. And the reason why we're set up like that is so that we can work with local areas like the Philippines so that we can go ahead and support them in delivering new opportunities. Okay, so being one of the consulting firms, we've got a research department, and what we've done is had a look at how long does it take for emerging technology to come to market in terms of mass adoption? On average, it takes about 25 years to go from an emerging tech to actually mass adoption. I'm going to put that back into presentation mode. Fantastic. So a couple of examples around that is smartphones. We know with the Apple iPhone, that is something that has taken around 10 years. We know that with cloud compute, if you start to look at these stages you go through from an emerging tech point of view, early adoption, trough of disillusionment, inflection, mainstream, and then late adopters, cloud's really at this mainstream adoption point right now. Blockchain, we're at this inflection point. We're really trying different use cases. It's not just financial, use cases around supply chain, etc. Quantum is right at the start here, early adoption. We're starting to do a lot with defense departments, looking at how to encrypt, make things confidential. Okay, so here's another view of EY's point of view of the use cases within blockchain. We started to talk about that this morning. Outside of cryptocurrencies and NFTs, we believe that there are starting to be more and more opportunities that are coming down the pipeline. The next two is DeFi becoming more robust and more stable. Stablecoins, we're doing a lot with financial institutions and designing the stablecoin infrastructure from a banking perspective. Supply chain traceability, which is one of my strong points. We're doing a lot with agricultural firms in looking at how commodities can come to market. You can trace it, you can look at the carbon emissions around that. We're hoping that business contracts and payments becomes more and more with the privacy on public blockchain, and then so forth in terms of intelligent automation, etc. So as you can see, we're right in this pathway right now in the next 2 or 3 years in cryptocurrency and NFTs, but these other areas are going to start to transform. And that's the key thing. So these are the killer apps that we think are going to be pushing forward with. One of the things right at the end here is DAOs, Decentralized Autonomous Organizations. I'm personally interested in this because I can see a massive opportunity here to improve governance, not just for the crypto community in terms of getting communities to work together to deliver an outcome, but for enterprise organizations as well. I see this as a massive opportunity where enterprise organizations can make sure that boards, CEOs are delivering the outcomes that they're saying they're going to deliver. So recording decisions properly so that the shareholders can see that they're doing the right thing. Another thing that's really interesting is the opportunity that is there for supply chains around moving from what we have now in a supply chain where you're going through a process, for example, a manufacturing plant, you're going through a process of raw materials to get to a finished product. It's quite linear in process. What the opportunity is with blockchain is they can start to have deep-seated networks between your relationships with suppliers and their suppliers, and also customers if they want to get involved as well. So that's next. That's where we're seeing that's going. Once you can start to enable public blockchains, that's going to give you that deep connection, relationships, sharing of data, the things that need to be available between entities. And then as that gets in play, then automation becomes more and more. So this is where smart contracts comes in. This is where beyond you can start to have converged technology around AI, around quantum, all those key opportunities around convergence. Some macroeconomic trends around what's happening in supply chains. It's really interesting. COVID's been the catalyst of a lot of the different pushes forward. We know that 94% of the Fortune 1000 companies have changed, readapted, revised, rewired themselves so they can work better. We know with China and its zero COVID policy that a lot of organizations have moved outside of China in terms of their supply chains. I think I was watching CNN the other night, and Foxconn, where Apple uses Foxconn, they're actually moving into Vietnam, moving into India, into other areas. Sustainability is a key thing for organizations. There's $114 billion worth of opportunity in sustainability. Consumers want to see that there are things being done, that changes are being made in terms of decarbonisation within organisations. We're making a difference. $10 million worth of opportunity within product recall. What that means is if you have a contamination within a food product, then there is a product recall where it has to go back to the manufacturer, or you need to find where that root cause is. So there's $10 million of opportunity there. And of course, we see blockchain in a $3.32 billion market to support this transformation. One of the case studies that I love talking about is what we did for Peroni beer. And that's not because I love drinking beer. I'm from Australia. But it's because what we've done is we've taken a solution to change an organisation that is 180 years old, an organisation that you would have thought would be not wanting to change at all. But they're quite a bold organisation. We work with the marketing team, and as you can see down the bottom here, what we have on the beer bottles now is QR codes. So it's there so that the consumer, when they buy the beer bottles, they can actually track back in the supply chain where the beer was malted, where it was processed, and from what farm, of which Peroni beer has around about 1,500 farms which it uses. The other thing that I love about what we did is we provided an improvement in quality processing, so you can start to trace and see what's happening in the supply chain, and the ethical practices, because you can start to then link in what some of these suppliers are doing as part of the outcome to deliver the beer. Okay, so one of the hot topics in the market is ESG. We know that everyone wants to do the right thing in terms of sustainability, and for us this is important. A lot of organisations now have a sustainability strategy, how they're going to decarbonise their organisation, how they're going to reduce their emissions. So it's quite important for us because we get asked as an audit company to come in and audit them, but we also get asked as a consulting company to talk to them about what we can do to help them from that point of view. We've been able to build a product, and one of these products I'm going to talk to you about. Can you go to the next slide, please? Which helps with scope 1, 2 emissions. So you can start to tokenize inside your actual organization. Again, a manufacturing example where you can tokenize raw materials through production, through the logistics process of transportation, and then out through distribution. So you can tokenize all that process, you can then track it through the process, and then you can start to add your emissions at different points, therefore giving you better reporting, more near real-time reporting, and then helping with that end-of-year annual reports. Really important. Another area that we work quite closely with is government and the public sector. The opportunity here is to increase transparency, and it's really to, from a government point of view, we all want to have better services as citizens, right? So we want to know where the money is being spent, where it's being appropriated, so that we know things are being delivered. So by putting some of these decisions and where the money inflows are onto a chain, you can start to see where that's going. So we have a product as well around looking at the flow of funds. It's called Public Finance Manager, and that helps from a government perspective. Okay, so we've got a bunch of products. After this, if you want to jump onto blockchain.ey.com, you can go in, you can register, you can have access to all these products I've just talked about. You can trial traceability for supply chain. You can try the ESG product, Public Finance Manager. Some of the other products I haven't mentioned as well is around a lot of the work we do in auditing for customers that have crypto assets on their balance sheets. And we have smart contract review testing as well along with that. So that's a really good tool to look at. Okay, so I think that's enough for me. You probably heard enough. Hopefully you've gotten some great information. Come and visit us at the booth. We're giving away some NFTs as well, so come and register, come and talk to us, and thank you very much.
Philippine Blockchain Week. See you next year.